Hi, welcome to my Healthy Fit videos. Today we're going to be doing yoga. Now, I don't do yoga normally. I'm truly a beginner. I've done it maybe one time, but Melissa has done it for a long time now. She does it several times a week. She's very good at it. So I thought, Melissa's my daughter, I thought I would let her lead us through yoga, okay? So I'm the beginner today. She's going to explain what we're doing and what level we're going to be at. So take it away, Melissa.
So as far as what level we're at, I'm going to be going through some basic yoga moves, basic what they call vinyasa flow, which I would say is beginner to intermediate. But the thing about yoga is that you're always doing the best that you can with each pose that I'm giving. Everything that I'm telling you to do or suggesting you to do is just that, a suggestion. If at any point you're uncomfortable with a move or you just want to stay in the move that you're in, you can do that. You can always go back to a child's pose, which I'll explain what that is in the beginning. That's always there for you to regroup. Really what you want to focus on the whole time always is breathing. That's the most important thing of yoga, not making sure that you're getting every move perfect. So it's very adaptable to your own levels, and I'll always be explaining that as we go through. So it is very basic, and it's something that is really good for everyone and every level.
Okay, great. All right, so let's roll.
So we're going to start out in a child, which is something like this. Your knees will be bent, your hips will be back to your heels, and your arms will be outstretched in front of you. When you do a child's pose, you can either have your knees spread out wide with your belly in between, with lots of space for your belly to kind of like hang down, or you can do it more with your knees in close together to provide extra support for your back and a little bit more of a back stretch. I like having my knees a little wider, so that's what I'm going to do. And the biggest thing, again, with yoga is breathing. So we're going to start out in child's pose with a nice breath together. You're going to let out all the air to the point that you're empty, fully empty of all the air. So breathe in and let out a deep breath of the ha. With yoga is you feel very silly when you're first starting out. Maybe you've never done breathing like this before, but as you go on and as you continue your practice, you'll start feeling more normal doing it, and you'll also notice how helpful it is in many areas of your life to have these breathing exercises. You don't have to make the amount of noise that I made. You know, you can do something more light. It's really whatever works for you, but the breathing is really something that we focus on in yoga, and something that is very calming, very meditative, and it's a main focus of the yoga practice. So when we're in child's pose, we'll be having our arms outstretched in front of us, and now we're going to start keeping our arms a little more forward. You'll outstretch your arms all the way in front of you to the point that your wrists start to come up from the mat. So really stretch forward and feel that deep stretch in your sides. And we'll do one more breath. Deep breath in through the nose. Hold it at the top and breathe out with a Now we'll start to, let's bring our left arm over on top of our right hand, all the way to the side, and breathe in one more time. Feel that nice stretch in your left side body and breathe out. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. Bring your right hand on top of your left hand, or just really try to get yourself, again, this is another modification, just get yourself in that direction. Even if your right hand doesn't totally get to the top of your left. It's really just an effort in that direction to feel the stretch. One more breath. And breathe out. Now we bring our arms again in front of us. Let's start to come up onto our hands and knees. And we'll do a few cat-cow breaths. What that means is that when you breathe in, your stomach goes down like a cat, and you breathe in, and then you breathe out, and you come up like a cow. One more time. Breathe in, head up, look up, breathe in, and breathe out. And in your own practice, you can really do that as many times as you want. Again, just to be comfortable. Now we'll keep a neutral spine here. We'll just do a few spinal stretches. Let's put our right arm out in front of us. And then reach out your left leg behind you. Breathe in. And really reach. You want to really reach. That's the goal, is not to be perfect, but to have an effort to stretch and feel that stretching of your right arm in front of you and your left leg behind you. Breathe in. And breathe out. Let go. Slowly come back down. And we'll do the same thing with the left side. Left arm in front of you first. And then the right leg will come behind you. Breathe in. Really make an effort to have your right leg go back toward the wall and your left arm to the front wall over here or to the front of you. Breathe in and breathe out. Come back down. And now we're going to start to come up onto a plank position. It's the way that I like to begin to come into a downward facing dog. We're going to come up to a plank, and the key, also another thing with yoga, is that you want to do as little effort as possible really in your muscles, which sounds weird, but that's really the effort with yoga. You can, in a plank position, you can stack your arms and your elbows and your wrists and your shoulders up so that everything is in a line. Your hands should be directly underneath your shoulders, and your ankles and your feet should be all the way back, so that if you're stacked in the front here with your shoulders above your hands, it's going to be a lot easier, and you don't have to use as much muscling and effort, because naturally the anatomy of your body will be stacked so that it won't require as much effort. Now when we come into a downward facing dog, we're going to go directly up. Put your butt up and your heels back. And that's exactly how you want to be. You don't adjust your arms or your legs forward or back from there. When you're in a plank, Mom, you can stay there. I'm just going to show everyone. When you're in a plank and you come straight back like that, that's the correct way that you, that's exactly where everything should be. Now, when you're in a downward facing dog, you want to keep your head down, and you want to keep your shoulders down as well. You don't want them up like this. You want them to be totally relaxed. And then your feet are going to be about hips width distance, and you can see that it would be about what it would be for your head to be between your feet. And the same with your arms. You want to really be pushing with your fingertips, especially your thumb tips, into the ground, so that it's not your wrists aren't pushing so hard into the ground, so that your fingertips are also sharing the work. And when you look in between your hands, you want your thumbs to be about the distance apart, as if a regular iPhone were in between your thumbs. Not an iPhone 7, because that's huge, but a regular iPhone. And that's the correct positioning for this posture. Now, you want to keep, again, your head, let's do a shake left and right, yes and no, so that you feel that your head is relaxed, and then you will, again, have your shoulders relaxed as well. Let's do a breath out, and a breath in, let it out, all the breath out. Feels very nice. Now, from downward facing dog, we'll extend our right leg up and out. You go for length, not height, and you want to keep your hips straight. So if ever you're going so far up that your hips are coming out like that, just bring your leg back down, because the key, again, is to have length, not height, and to have straight hips through this posture. You want to flex your foot so that you're kicking the back wall, and you want to, let's breathe while we lengthen out, and breathe out. Now one more time, let's lift a little higher, and then you can come open now, open up your leg, open up your hip, and here you can kind of do whatever you want. You can play around, you can roll your ankle, you can explore your hip joint, and just sort of open up and enjoy that stretch through the hip. All right, let's lengthen out one more time. Lengthen your legs straight out. Breathe in and breathe out, let it go down. Foot down. Now the left leg, let's do the same thing. Breathe out. Again, going for length, not height in this position.
just my hands. And again,
Question, my hands are getting numb.
yes.
So what happens in that?
So again, you want to really try to keep your hands. I think it comes back to the space between your fingers. You want to make sure that you have the right space. Sometimes if they start coming out more, you might feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
And then also, that's again the pressing in your fingertips. A lot of times when it's numb, you're having a lot of weight in your
should
your
hands
wrists.
be flat? Well, I mean,
Your hands should be flat, but you should also be putting the effort of pressure into your fingertips so
I
that
gotcha.
takes the pressure off your wrists.
Okay.
But also some of it just again has to do with your being a beginner and not having done it before, and that's where you can come back to the child's pose again if you feel you need a little break for your hands, your arms. You just come back to your child's pose and you can take a break.
Thank you.
That's generally, it has a lot to do
It does
with,
make a difference when I do the fingertips.
yeah. So let's come back out with our left leg, and then let's open up onto the hip. Again, explore that, stretch it out, really whatever you want to do in this position. Come back out one more time, straight out. Breathe in and let your leg down. Now what we're going to do now, bend your knees, look toward your hands, and step very slowly up to the front of your mat. Now let's measure out hips width distance, and what that looks like is 2 fists in between your feet. Fist width distance, 2 fists. Now that you're there, you just hang heavy. You can bend your knees as much as you need. You may need to bend your knees a lot. Maybe you have tight legs, you might have a tight back. The way that you do that, you just bend your knees as much as you need to be comfortable. You can also hold on to your elbows. You can sort of swing back and forth. You can bend your knees this way, left and right, just sort of stretch out. Whatever you want to do that feels comfortable. Now let's go straight down one more time with our arms straight down, let it all hang heavy. And what we're going to do now is a half lift. And what that looks like is you can have your hands either on your thighs or your shins, never on your knees, and you come up to a flat back, what you would feel would be a flat back. Sometimes I look behind me to see your back is flat, and you want to keep your hands again here, or they can also be here. Whatever's comfortable for you, but never on the knees. And we're just going to stay here, and we're going to breathe in and breathe out. And that really just, it stretches out and it neutralizes your back in this position after you've been doing some other stuff with your back. Now let's breathe one more time and let it go. And now let's come up to a half lift in a one breath, one movement. So breathe in up and breathe out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a mountain pose. What that looks like is your arms will come up as you come up. Straight up, and let's stand flat in our mountain pose. Now another key, this is always going to be a rule, I'm always going to be repeating this, keep your shoulders down, do not, lift them up, no pressure on the shoulders, keep your arms straight up. You can feel a lifting in your thighs as if you straighten your knees, if you flex your thighs, you'll feel a lifting. So you want to keep that tight. You want to keep your stomach muscles tight and just keep your arms up. And breathe in and breathe out. And now you can breathe up, come up, maybe come a little bit back, do a little back stretch, and breathe out and fall forward.
Now, if you're like me and you're going through menopause, you're going to feel a lot of tingling and stuff in your wrists. It's just because of that.
So, and you can, let's do it. Shake our head, no, shake our head, yes, just shake out. We'll do another half lift, breathe in, and breathe out. And now we'll do one more, another breathe in and all the way up and back, and then breathe out. We'll do that with the mountain pose. So let's, and again, you don't have to, obviously when I'm doing this, I'll show you, I'm going back because I've been doing yoga, but that's not, again, that's something that you can, work toward. It's something you can try, but if you're, even if you breathe in your mountain pose and you're up here, that's also great because really you're experiencing the stretching, you're experiencing the
reaching up to the sky. It stretches out your stomach and your back. You know, I'm not sure if you can feel that, Mom. That stretches.
It's very nice for your ab muscles. One more half lift. Breathe in and breathe out. Now we'll come back, right foot back, left foot back. Come into our plank pose. We're gonna go through a flow, and what that means is you breathe in as you push your arms up like that in the plank pose, and then as you breathe out, you come down a halfway like this, like almost like as if you were going to do a tricep push-up, and then you, as you're breathing out, you come down halfway, and then as you breathe in, you push up like that. The top of your feet will be touching the mat. Nothing else should be touching the mat. You don't want it like this. You want to be resting down. You want to be pushing up with your arms as the top of your feet touch, and you want to be reaching up and looking up to the sky to get that nice stretch. And again, if you're not all the way back here, it's all an effort toward that. So you're pushing up and you're reaching up no matter how far you're actually getting. And you're breathing in, and then as you breathe out, you come back to your downward facing dog like that. And now we'll do one more of those. That's called a sun salutation. So when you bend your knees, you walk forward to the top of your mat. Again, make sure your feet are hips width distance. Do half lift. Breathe in, breathe out, and now up. Breathe in, up to your mountain pose. Breathe out. One more half lift. Left leg back. Right leg back, and flow. In, out halfway, breathe in, up, and then back to your downward facing dog as you breathe out. And we'll do this one more time, do it on your own. It's called one breath, one movement. So we'll meet back in a downward facing dog, but we're gonna go through that sun salutation one more time. So watch me, and Mom, you can watch me if you don't remember.
Yeah.
Upward facing dog, by the way, that's called. This is downward facing dog. Okay, now we're going to push our right leg back the same way that I originally had been explaining. Again, going for length, not height, and push it back straight. Now you're going to bring your knee to your forehead. Okay, using your abs. Really using your abs. I can't reach my knee to my forehead. Some people can. I can't. But you're trying. And then as you're pushing with your abs to get your knee to your forehead, you'll bring your foot through in between your hands. Oh. If you can't get it all the way, you just...
No.
If you can't get it all the way, that's totally normal, totally okay.
Oh my gosh.
You'll just bring your foot,
now
you'll sort of jiggle your foot through in between.
Okay, but I've seen some people, it's supposed to be between your arms, not like this.
That's a different pose. So
okay.
For this, it's between. Right. Gotcha. So now you'll dial your foot back like this. Your left heel will be back like that. And then you'll come up into your warrior one pose, which is this. It's a mountain pose from your head to your shoulders with your arms up like that, like I had explained our mountain pose before. Your back foot is down. Make sure that your back, your pinky toe and that side of your foot is down on the ground. You don't want it up. You want it, that's the effort that you want. You want your mountain pose arms like this.
Crooked. I feel like I look crooked.
So what you need to do a little bit is sort of bring your hips. You want to be making an effort, and that's really using your abs. They should be pointing to the front.
What do I look like?
So with this,
oh God, does it go that
and
way?
it's an effort. It's an effort again.
It sure
is.
is.
So, and what I would suggest for you, can move in your foot a little bit up forward, and you want this to be straight.
Okay.
Really straight, and you want to really tight leg here, and that looks good. And now you want to be also with your front leg. You want to be lunging. It's like a lunge pose. Exactly. Perfect. That's exactly how it should be. And you're always making an effort, always trying to get your hips to the front, even though they're not there, and maybe they'll never get exactly face to the front. You want to always
be trying. And this leg should always be lunging as much as you can. Now let's breathe in. Breathe out. And again, everything is an effort. Maybe you're only here. Maybe you're here. Everything is an effort, but that is the goal. The goal is to have a strong back leg with your pinky edge really touching the floor, and your arms up in mountain pose, and a good lunge here. And then you're always trying to get your hips on the effort and the goal to get them toward the front of you. Let's do one more breath in. Breathe. Reach up, maybe reach back. Oh, God. And breathe down. Cartwheel your hands down to be in the same place they were with your foot in between.
Dying.
Push your foot back.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
And we'll do a flow. Always do a flow, and you can always come back to a flow to sort of rinse things out and get yourself back to neutral. So breathe in, push up. Breathe out, halfway down. Breathe in, upward facing dog. Breathe out, downward facing dog. Now let's do the same thing with the left side. Left leg out. Again, length, not height. Bring your knee to your forehead. And then once you're getting into that position, bring your foot in between your hands. Oh, and if, like my mom's doing here, you can't quite get it.
Like
okay.
Your mom is struggling.
It's okay. If you're back here, you just pull it up between your hands. It doesn't have to be one fell swoop. You can just sort of walk your foot in between your hands. Straighten out that right leg, Mom. Make sure that's straight. Exactly. You always want this to be straight. The leg that's going to be supporting you there, you want to keep it straight.
Severe discomfort right now.
But see, that's because it's her first time. You have to keep, as you keep doing it, you feel more comfortable, and you really notice changes in your flexibility and your muscle tone as well. So let's dial our foot back like that, exactly, and we'll come up to our mountain pose arms, or warrior one like this.
Oh God, this hip is
again, this leg should be very straight. Really making an effort there. And again, like my mom, she did a good adjustment for herself. She felt like she couldn't
my hips are not turning.
But they will. So I'll come over and adjust you. But what I want to point out that she did, which is good, you can always move the back leg in a little bit. If it's not comfortable for you, or you feel like you're not, you haven't quite reached the flexibility level to have it back, again, you can adjust that way and you can bring it in. Arms up like this, and make sure your front leg again is lunging down. You want to always be trying to get it lunge deeper and deeper, and you want to have your arms up in your mountain pose. Shoulders should be down again, not up here. No tension in your shoulders or your neck. And you breathe in. Now, this is very good. My mom's saying she doesn't feel like her hips are forward enough, but that's something that comes with time and with the flexibility of continuing to do the poses. And again, the goal is not have your hips forward. The goal is to be always reaching toward that. It's an effort toward a direction of your hips. It's not that your hips have to, from the start, be exactly facing forward. My hips don't face forward completely either. And
is this good?
She's got a good lunge here. She's got her good mountain arms. I think keep them like that. And we're always making the effort.
Wow.
So now, she looks great. Once she can see herself, she'll see. So you go like this. Now let's breathe in one more time. Up, maybe go back. And breathe out and arms down.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to do a one breath, one movement. Well, first we're going to flow. So let's breathe in, up, breathe out, and upward facing dog. And breathe out, downward facing dog. Now we're going to do one breath, one movement with each side, right leg, left leg, and flows in between. So we'll just go through that. Right leg up. Knee to forehead between your hands. Dial down. Now you don't need to stay in the position. A one breath, one movement. The whole point is to sort of really feel the movements, feel the breath.
I feel like every yoga teacher's going to cringe when they see this video of me.
Yeah, me too. I'm not an expert yoga teacher. I'm not
You're good,
certified yoga trainer. I want to be clear.
You're good.
Left leg. And one breath, one movement. So you're one breath for each movement. The point is not to get everything perfect on this round. The point is, again, to feel your breath with your movement. And
again, I would really encourage everyone to be breathing deeply and breathe and feel the vibration of your breath, even if you feel like you sound silly, or even if you think I sound silly in this video. It really, you'll notice the more you do it, especially if you close your eyes as you breathe and feel the vibration of your breath, you'll really notice the calming effect that that has, the meditational aspect of it, and you really can bring that back to any area of your life or any stressful situation. That breathing really will help you. So we'll do one more breath together right now. Actually, you know what? We're going to come down to a child's pose.
Thank God.
And we're going to do a breath here in child's pose. Breathe all the air out. Breathe out. You'll feel the vibration of that breath. One more time. Let's come up to a tabletop. Let's come back into our plank, to our downward facing dog. Now we're going to bend our knees, look toward the front of our mat, the same thing as before. Walk your hands up. You can also hop, but I honestly never really usually hop. I always prefer to walk your legs up, but if you want to do that, you can also hop your way up to the front. Make sure your feet are with hips width distance. Now, next thing we're going to do is a chair pose. It's everyone's least favorite yoga pose, but if you want summer body in your shorts, then that's the best pose for you. And even though you're going to hate it, maybe it's the best one, I think, for toning the way that you want. And also, it really, you gain a lot of resistance and ability to sort of breathe through the breath. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bend our knees, put our arms up, and we're going to be in this position.
I always
butt
feel
back
like
as
I'm
if
not
you're
in a
sitting.
I feel like I'm not in a good position here with this.
No, you are. As if you're sitting in a chair. So you want your butt down. There's an imaginary chair. The weight is going to be back toward your heels, but your toes will be on the mat. But you can lift up your toes because there's no effort. There's no pressure in your toes. So you could lift them up. You keep them on the ground, but the weight is in your heels, if you see what I mean. You want to be reaching your arms up. You want your stomach sucked in, and you'd be sitting in an imaginary chair. The thing that my mom's doing that she should alter is your knees. You don't want your knees coming out or in. You want them to be directly over your ankles. So hers are coming in a little bit. She wants to keep those out so that they're directly where her ankles are. Now she's in a good spot. Lift up here. Lift up.
Gonna catch me, are you?
Lift up. So the thing that she was doing should be.
I don't think I can.
So your knees aren't coming in like this. They should be directly over your ankles, because that there's a lot of issues with that. And then you want to keep your arms up like that, but you also want to be. So you're going to see a little curve to your back. A little bit, yeah. You want to be lifting your back up, and you can also push your butt under a little bit too. So like that.
Is that good?
That's very good. Yes. And just make sure those knees are directly over your ankles and not going in or bowing out at all. Be directly up. Okay? And now we're going to breathe out. I'm going to breathe in. And breathe out. You're really reaching toward you have a lot of strength in your arms. The strength is coming out of your hands as you do this. And what I've noticed that you can also help if you do breaths like this, like so shake out all the tension that would be in your face. And let's do one more breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Fall forward. I'm going to fall down, right? And let's do a half lift. Breathe in. And breathe out. Now let's do one more chair pose. Again, let's check and make sure our feet are hips width distance, which is 2 fists in between your feet to measure it. Let's do one more half lift. Next breath in, butt back, legs bent, chair pose. Again, your arms are up. There's no tension in your shoulders. Your shoulders aren't up here. They're down here. Your arms are up like a mountain pose. Your stomach is in, and you're sitting back as far as you can. And your knees, again, your knees aren't going in or out.
And again, if you ever need a break, you can take a break. You can go back to your chair pose, but you should endeavor to try to keep it in the position and really use your breath. And what I always suggest is that if you ever want to stop a pose or take a break, just try a breath first before you do that. So breathe in, reach up, breathe out, fall forward. And now let's step back to our plank, and we'll do a flow. Push up, breathe in, breathe out, breathe up, breathe out. Okay, the next thing we'll do is we'll put our right leg back. Do the same thing as the first, what we were doing last time with the mountain pose. Not the mountain pose, the warrior pose. Bring our knee to our forehead, foot in between, right foot in between your hands. Dial the left foot back like that. Come up to warrior one. And now from here, come out to warrior two. So your arms are out like this. And as you look at your arms, you want them to be straight with your shoulders. So your hands will be at shoulder length on both sides. Your, if you feel, how do I explain this? You can feel a tension in your this part of your legs, almost as if you're trying to push your legs together toward each other more, and you'll feel that tension in your inner thigh. That's what you want. That helps you hold up the position without so much effort on these parts of your legs. To keep that tension will really help you. You want to keep your butt under. You don't want it sticking out. You want it under. And again, you want to be, the effort in this position is reaching your arms from one side of the room to the other in each direction. And sometimes it helps to go like this. Put your arms, your hands out like that. Effort, 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 and then push them down. You'll see that you're reaching more when you do that. Your head will be facing here, and you'll just breathe in this position. Another thing about warrior two is that you want to a lot of times try to widen your stance as you're in the position longer. It is a wider stance, and that will require more effort, and also it's a little bit more of a challenge. You do want to widen your stance and really lunge. Now let's breathe, reaching, and breathe out. Cartwheel your hands down to the ground. Put your right foot back and go through your flow. And now we'll put our left leg up and back. Left knee to forehead. Left foot in between your hands. Dial your right heel back. Up to warrior one. And out to warrior two on the left side. And again, the same thing with your hands. You want to make sure that they're really at your shoulder length. They're not down here, they're not up here. They're in line with your shoulders. My mom's doing an excellent job of that.
She's dying.
She could probably push her shoulders down a little bit so they're not reaching up toward her ears. Perfect. And she could probably also widen her stance a little bit if she wanted to try to make that effort. But that's just, again, a suggestion, not a mandate. Again, keep our butt in, keep that, like I was saying, that effort in your inner thighs, almost as if you're pushing your legs together. You're trying to scissor your legs together, and do squeeze your butt. Yes, correct. Keep your arms out. Again, now let's breathe. As you breathe out, cartwheel your arms down. Put your left leg back and go through a flow. And we'll do that one breath, one movement. Right leg back, right into it. Heel up. Breathe up. Breathe out. One breath in this position. Cartwheel down. Again, the one breath, one movement is very quick. It's the second time through you're really trying with the breath. Even shut your eyes if you can, because closing your eyes will take away all the other distractions and other things you might be thinking of, and you're just really focusing on the breath. Left leg up. And you go as quick or as slow as you want, but again, you're focusing on the breath. One breath, one movement. Now, what we're going to do is you're going to
We're gonna bend our knees, walk up to the front of the mat again. Okay, now you want to put your feet in together. Get your feet together, touching. Your knees are touching, your shins are touching. Everything is one tree trunk underneath you. And let's do a half lift in this position. Breathe in, breathe out. Now what we're gonna do here is a modified chair pose. We'll come up to what we would have been a chair pose. Your arms, your thumbs will cross. Your hands will otherwise be in prayer pose, and your arms will be up like this, and your butt will be back in a chair pose. Exactly. And we're like that. Exactly. You want to be looking up, yes, exactly. And you want to, the effort that you should be making is for your arms. Your hands should always be pressed. There shouldn't be any gap happening.
What if you can't do that though?
So that's all about the how high up you have your arms. So if you're finding a gap, you want to keep your arms a little lower, even if they're down here. The goal is not to have them be up here and with a gap. The goal is to have them in front of you, no gap, and as high up as they can go without a gap. And that's the goal. Again, keep your arms down here if you're noticing that gap. Exactly. You don't need to look up so much, just keep your head straight like that. Okay, now breathe in and breathe out, and we'll come to a prayer pose in the center here in between your chest.
I like this.
And your arms like this. Now you want to keep very straight back. You want to really be keeping your shoulders down. Breathe in, breathe out, lean forward, and take your left elbow to your right knee, okay? Outside your right knee. Push in with your right hand into your left hand. Push it in as you twist. And that's a really nice spinal twist. And as you're doing that, if you look down at your left knee, if your knee is pushing out like this, bring it back forward here. You want your knees to be in line. You don't want one knee to be sticking out more than the other, which tends to happen. So with my mom here, just want to bring that knee back. You don't want your legs to be stealing the stretch from your back. It's all a stretch up here. It's never a stretch with your knee. And again, bring that knee back. And she has a good stretch there. And she should be also pressing in with her hands. It's very good. So, let's do one more breath. And come back to center. Breathe in, lean forward, and the other side. When your right elbow to your left leg. You're going to be pushing into your right arm with your left arm. Really pushing as you twist your spine only, not your leg, and you make sure that right knee is again in line with the left knee. It's not popping out in front. It should be all in line. Breathe in, breathe out, come back to the center, arms up, and lean forward. Breathe out. Shake out your head, yes, no. You can bend each knee. You can sort of like this. And what we're gonna do here is put your hands together, clasp behind your back, and then
oh God, no.
lean your arms up. They don't have to go all the way.
They're not going anywhere.
That's okay. That's good. It's just a shoulder stretch. It's just as much as it can go. It doesn't have to go all the way up here. It could be even back here. Whatever you can do. It's a nice stretch for your shoulders. Breathe in and breathe out. Let it go. Now let's do a half lift. And breathe out. Now feet back and we'll go through a flow. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna lean our put our right leg back again. Bring your right knee to your forehead in between your arms. And now dial your right leg more toward your right arm. So it's gonna be train tracks instead of train tracks. It's going to be, you want it to be staggered. You don't want them to be in line with each other, on top of each other, your right foot and your left foot. So you want to put that right foot back where your right hand was so that they're staggered. Now, and leave your heel where it is. Make sure your left heel. Make sure that your left heel is really up onto your, up as high as it can go, and keep that there. And now we're gonna come up just like this in this pose. Okay? And
And we're gonna keep our left leg as strong, as straight as possible. And you're really tensing your left leg. And what's happening to my mom is that she's losing her balance. And the reason for that is that this leg, this foot should come out a little more to the right. And that's gonna really help you keep your balance, as you'll see. And exactly, see? She has her legs straight, could be a little straighter. She could keep it, and that also helps the balance actually. As much as it sounds harder, it's actually easier because you're keeping these staggered, and this, the strength of this, and keeping your heel up will keep you in the pose. Okay? So we're gonna breathe in, maybe go back, and we're gonna breathe down and come down, come back. Okay? And let's do a flow. Let's do it on the left side. Left leg back. In between the legs. Keep your right heel where it is. Move your left foot again, almost to where your left hand was, like pretty far out. Arms straight up. High lunge, crescent lunge is what this pose is called. Okay, and you want to keep your legs straight. See, my mom's doing a great job, and you can see it's easier for her this time, I'm noticing, because she has her foot out here instead of in line with her right foot. You want your left foot to be very staggered so that you keep that balance, okay? Now let's breathe in and up. And let's breathe out. And back. And we'll do another flow. Now, the next thing we'll do is very similar to what we just did. We'll put our right leg back. Breathe in, put it between your legs. Okay, now with this pose, we're going to keep our left hand down on the ground. We're going to reach up our right arm and twist as you reach up. Exactly. And the goal is to have your arm in line with your shoulder and up as high as you can. My mom's doing a great job here. And keep that left leg as straight as possible. No bending in the knee if you can. And we're just really reaching. It's a nice stretch, and it really brings out your inner organs. And you could also make sure your left hand, to make it easier, is as close to your right foot as possible. You can move yours a little bit more, Mom. Breathe in, twist, and breathe out. And come back, put your right foot back, and go through a flow. Left leg up. Knee to forehead, always doing that whenever you bring your leg in. Bring it in. Make sure your right hand stays down and close to your left foot. And put your left hand up. Arm up, leg up, everything up. Doing a nice twist. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Let's do one more breath. Breathe in, look up, try to look at your left hand again, or just make an effort toward that direction. And breathe out. Go through a flow. Now, let's come down to our knees. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little bit of core work. I know my mom loves that so much, so we're going to do that. Let's come out into this position. First what we'll do is we'll first do a nice leg stretch here. So forward, fold stretch. But first, you want to kind of pull your, for lack of a better word, butt on the right side and the left side so that the fleshy part of your butt is off the ground, and you can feel it on the bones, that you're sitting more on the bone part of your butt. It'll help you with your forward fold being the right stretch. You put your arms up, breathe in, and breathe out, and come forward. Now you can either really pull and make an effort to get yourself down, or you can just let gravity do the work and sort of hold onto your front feet, and you do what you can do. Even if you're up here, doesn't matter. You're just making an effort toward your shins, and you don't want to be bending a lot like that. You know, with your back really curved. You want to be as straight as possible, making an effort to get your nose more toward your ankles. And if it causes a curve in your back to try to make that effort, then you just come up a little bit. You don't need to be
all the way down here, but curved back. You want to be really making an effort to have everything straight. Okay, let's breathe in. And breathe out. And you'll notice as you breathe out, you'll come down, naturally come down a little bit lower. Okay, let's do one more breath. And breathe out. And come back up. And now what we're gonna do is some core work. So let's bring our butt to the middle of the mat. Legs at 90 degrees. Arms like this. The same as that original pose that we were doing with the tree trunk legs. You'll want your thumbs like that, crossing, like in front of you, like this. You'll breathe in and breathe out, and breathe out down to the right side. And when you're doing this, when you're on the right side, your effort at least is to look behind your right shoulder, okay, and to come down like that. Breathe in, arms up, legs in, and breathe out to the left side, okay, and you're trying to look behind your left shoulder as you're doing that side. One more time, up, down to the right, and up, down to the left, and up, down to the right, and down to the left, and up, down to the right, and up, down to the left, and back to center. And now have your arms out like this, and we're gonna go down, and we're gonna come back up. Okay? And down, lower length and hover, and come up. And down, lower length and hover, and come up. And down, lower length and hover, and stay here and scissor kick your feet. Scissor kick your feet. Arms out behind you. Scissor kick your feet. And it's just an effort. And if you can't do it, you keep your arms like that.
I can do it. I'm just tired.
And now we're gonna do bicycles.
I'm exhausted.
A few bicycles. We're wrapping it up.
God. Yeah, I know.
Like that. And I'm sure my mom taught everyone the proper form for bicycles. You want your elbow to be reached to your knee. You want your legs fairly low. You don't want them high up. Okay? I'm gonna do some more bicycles. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? And we're gonna come up. Now the last thing we're gonna do,
God, yoga's hard.
we're gonna do some stretches of our hips, okay? So we're gonna get back into our downward facing dog. Okay. We're gonna reach our right leg back. We're gonna bring our right knee through and out to the side, out past your right arm and your right elbow, out like that, and it's called a half pigeon pose, okay? So you keep your legs like this is what your legs look like. You keep yourself up, and before you go down, we will lean down, but before you lean down, make sure your back is really straight, and you're really stretched like that, and then you come down. And you just come down as far as you can. And if up here, if you don't want to come down at all, or you feel uncomfortable coming down to your elbows or further down, or you feel like that's just not going to work for your flexibility level, you just stay up here too. It's a great stretch for your hips. It's a very, very good hip stretch, okay? And you want to keep everything in line. You don't want this coming out like that. You want everything to be sort of in a straight line. And then you can lean down. And the key, as with every pose, but especially this pose I've noticed, is really breathing. You really need to be breathing in this pose because it is an intense hip stretch. And you can really stay in this pose as long as you want. I recommend a longer period of time staying in this pose because it does take some time for your hips to stretch out, and the longer you stay in the pose, the better stretch you'll get, especially after all of the work you were doing that involves your hips during this yoga class. Breathe out. And as you'll notice, as you're in this pose, you may feel that your you're gaining flexibility and you're able to go down a little lower. You can also challenge yourself if you feel so inclined to bring your elbows out a little further, bring your chest down a little more to the ground. Again, or not, if you don't feel comfortable. If you ever feel any pinching in your knees, this is very important.
you should not be doing the pose anymore. You should modify your pose. And the way that you can do that is by coming forward here, okay? Coming down, laying back, and keeping like this. So you have your foot in front of your, sort of in front of your knee, more on your thigh, in front of your knee, and you have the same pose as you had on the ground. This left leg will be bent, and you'll bring all of this forward, okay? And you can do it that way. That's gonna take the pressure off your knee. So again, if you ever feel pinching in your knee, you don't want that. That's not good. So you wanna get out of that pose. Just going back to this. What you should be feeling and what you want is an intense stretch in your hip, this back area, right back, and underneath, basically underneath your right butt area. You're gonna want a good stretch there.
That's where I feel it.
But pinching in the knees is bad, and you wanna modify like that if you feel that, okay? So slowly, we're gonna come out of the pose, and I always like to lengthen my leg back, and I do a little bit of the same thing we did in the beginning, just stretching out here. Doing the half pigeon does have like a tourniquet effect on your right leg sometimes, so you want to stretch it out. So as I stretch here, just stretch my legs out before I move on to the left side. We'll do the left side now. So breathe in, bend your knee, and you're always want your knee outside of your right arm or your left arm and your elbow. So whichever side the knee is on, you want it to be not in here, out there, outside of that arm. Okay? And now again, breathe in, make sure your back is nice and straight, and then you can come down or you can stay up depending on your comfort and flexibility level. And you'll be breathing in deeply. And again, the modification, if you're feeling any pinching in your knees or general discomfort in your knees, is to have your left ankle right on your thigh, right below where your knee is. You can lay back and you can bring it up, okay? Like that, and that'll achieve the same stretch. Always want to be protecting our knees in the yoga practice. And again, for the purposes of this video, both of these sides have been shorter than they would be, I would say, in a regular yoga class, or than you may want to do at home. You do want to stay in this position for a while, even if you feel that and again, like every other pose, if you're feeling like you want to come out of the position, I would always encourage to take 2 to 3 more breaths before you do come out of the position. If you're feeling like, I gotta get out of this now, try your breath first, and you might stay in it longer than you expected. So we'll do one more breath in. And now what we're going to do is we're going to come down, and sometimes, you know, we might do a few, let's come down to lay on our belly. We might do a few back exercises. I'll just do one here before we come into our final Shavasana, which is the final resting pose. All of your work leads up to that, but you know, you might do a few back stretches. So for instance, keep your both your hands right underneath your shoulders like this, like my mom has it good too. You'll want to zip up your legs, keep them straight and together behind you. And then you'll come up just with the effort of your stomach, not actually using your arms. You'll come up and you'll lift your rib cage up off the ground as high as you can. And you'll be looking up toward the sky. Let's try lifting up your hands. You want to make sure there's no actual pressure on pushing. You don't want your hands or your arms helping you at all in this pose. Just your back, okay? Breathe in and look up. And breathe in and look up. Okay, one more. And down. And now let's lay our left ear to the mat. You can keep your legs together. You can also sprawl your legs out a little bit. You can have your toes, your front big toes touching each other as you have your feet out a little bit, just resting.
as you wait for the next round, which we'll do one more round. Okay, let's come back to the center. Give your chin on the ground, your arms again right underneath your shoulder, legs zipped up behind you, and we'll do one more. Breathe in and lift your rib cage up.
This is the hardest stretch for me too. I'm very bad at these exercises. They're not comfortable for me, but I do make my efforts. Breathe in. Again, no effort in your hands or your arms. One more. And breathe out.
And down. And you could probably feel that in your back. Mom, did you feel that in your back?
Yes,
It's a very good back exercise.
Yes.
So now we're going to just come into the final Shavasana. If there's ever anything more you want to do, you want to play around, you can do that. But now we'll do our final Shavasana, which is really just laying out straight. Your legs will be the width of your mat, your hands straight out next to you. You can also have them on your stomach or on your chest, feeling your heartbeat, whatever's comfortable for you. And you really just lay here, and you can turn the lights off. You can just lay and breathe and enjoy going from so much effort to just a period of total rest. That's sort of the goal in everything that you've done. You really want to take your time in this final pose, because everything that you've done so far in your yoga class has led to this. All that effort is so that you can experience the feeling of going from so much effort to just total relaxation. Just feel the ground holding your weight underneath you. No tension in any parts of your body. And you just lay flat, and you enjoy a moment of silence and meditation. And now, for the purposes of ending this video, I will come up. You can stay in this pose as long as you want. And that's basic, some basic yoga moves for you.
Can I just say, I am so proud of you. This is my daughter. She did an awesome job. You made it understandable. If you can see, I obviously was nowhere near a lot of the moves, but I feel like my entire body has been worked. And so thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can always email me at lisa@healthyfit.net. If you have any questions for Melissa about yoga, which I wouldn't be able to answer, but I can always forward them to her, please do so. Please email me. But thank you so much for leading us through, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.